A very good afternoon to the students of class 6. Okay, 13 students present today. So welcome all. Okay. So students, in previous class we have already discussed about the first few chapters of the chapter number 5, that Kingdom, Kings and an Early Republic. And today in this class we are going to discuss the another 3 new subunits, that is our changes in agriculture, a closer look, Magadha and Bajji. Okay. It is in page number 60 in the old book. Okay. Yes, and students, please mention your name and present in the chat box. I am taking attendance from that. Yes. Okay, Joita, Shishendu, all are present. Aviraj, Megomita, Nishad, Shapura, Onesha, Kanona, Joita. Okay. Preyoshi also. And at last Binayak. So students, let's begin the class. That in previous classes you have read about the Janapada, Mahajanapada and the taxes collected by the Rajas in the Janapadas from the people. Okay. Now today we are going to discuss changes in agriculture. At first, the previous civilizations, mostly we have seen they are in different manner. Okay. Such as the Indus Valley civilization, that was based on town based civilization. Okay. Urban civilization, everything, the trade, commerce and most of these things are based on the towns, and towns are the center of activities. Now in the Ganga Valley civilization, this is the Ganga Valley civilization. You have read in first chapter, remember that 2500 years ago the Ganga Valley civilization established. Okay. And it is also page number 52 in the new book. It is the 52 in the new book. Okay. So there are mainly 2 major changes occurred in this civilization, such as the number 1, the growing use of iron plowshare. Okay. The growing use of iron plowshare, because heavy clayey soil could be turned over easily, better than the wooden plow with the help of iron plowshare, and more grain could be produced in this way. So agricultural technology also improved. So the number 1 change is use of iron plowshare. Okay. Use of iron plowshares. So this is the number 1 feature. So number 2 feature, it is the transplanting. Okay. So what is transplanting? The transplanting you have a method of agriculture you may have seen in different places, that the plants would sprout in one place. The seeds were planted in a small patch of land Okay, and when the plants sprouted and the saplings were, so you have to write only this main points. Okay, so these are the main points. You can write this in your copy, and when you read this, read your book, you can explain from through these points. Okay, that transplanting paddy, it is another feature. They mainly cultivate paddy, so that's why I am writing paddy. So transplanting is a method when small saplings were grown in a piece of land. The seeds were planted in a small patches of land, and when the plants would sprout, the saplings were grown and then planted into agricultural field in to maintaining equal distance. This system also used in today's paddy cultivation in our India, in Bengal, in your surrounding villages. Okay, and this led increase of production. This transplanting and use of plowshare, these two things actually increase the production, and increase the production means more income and more prosperity. And many plants also survived. Previously, lot of plants died when they used the broadcasting method. What is broadcasting method? There is the spreading of seeds. They spread the seeds in the soil and give water, and plants grown on their own. But in this method, after plowing the seed, plowing the field, agricultural field, they plant the saplings in equal distances, okay, which were grown in some other places, okay, shown in the other places. So this total process is called transplanting. Okay, and generally slave men and women, the dasas and dasis and laborers, the landless agricultural laborers, those don't have any land, those laborers. So those laborers don't have any agricultural field. They actually plant those saplings in the agricultural field and also use the plowshare. And it was a very hard work. It is a back-breaking work. Back-breaking work means it is very strenuous. And mainly the dasas and dasis, the slaves, they worked in this, and landless agricultural laborers known as kammakaras. Okay, so kammakaras and dasan and dasis, they involved. Dasa, dasis, dasas, dasis and kammakaras. So these are the people who worked and who involved in this agricultural activity. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Shishandu, which part you cannot understand? Dasa and Dasi, previous class I have already mentioned that the slaves that were captured after the war, they were called Dasa and Dasi. Previous chapter, remember. Okay, they don't have right to perform sacrifices and entered into the place of yajna. Those are called Dasa and Dasis. Okay, so these are slaves. Sometimes they also mentioned as Shudras. So these people, these Dasa and Dasis, they actually involved in these agricultural activities. And the kammakars, those are landless agricultural laborers. Okay, today also some people are there, those people don't have any land, agricultural field. Okay, so they cultivated for cultivated grains in some others agricultural field, and the owner of the agricultural field gave the share of some crops to him or her for salary, okay, as a salary. So these people kammakars, called kammakars at that time. Today also these type of peoples are there, but they are not mentioned as kammakars. At that time, I am talking about the 2500 years ago, in the time of Ganga Valley civilization. Okay. Now next thing, the closer look, Magadha. What is, so you know that at the time 16 main Mahajanapada established, and one of them was Magadha. Okay, so Magadha is the one of the main and most important Mahajanapadas about 200 years, and many rivers such as the Ganga and Shon, the tributary of Ganga, they flowed through Magadha, and this was important also because of transport, because the rivers were used as a river routes are used for transportation. Through big boats and ships, they traveled through the Ganga and Shon river, and import and export also occurred through these rivers. So this Magadha is also important for trade and commercial activity, because Magadha situated between the two rivers. This is, so okay, so this is the place where Magadha, okay, and after that it was entered in the Bay of Bengal and fall into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so it is situated in today's Bihar. So our present West Bengal is like that. Okay, so in this way it is in today's Bihar. Okay, students, so this is the place, the eastern side of India. So this is the place where the Magadha is situated between the two rivers. So it is the junction. So it is very important for trade and commercial activities through the river. And number two, it is also important for water supplies, for agriculture. So for agriculture, lot of water needed. So water is very much available for the in this region in Magadha for agriculture. So number C, making of land fertile. It is a land also fertile. The land also fertile, because you know that the land situated in the both the side of the river, they are very much fertile because of the alluvial deposit. Alluvial means the soil, okay, the sticky soil that's present beside the banks of the river. Okay, muddy soil, that is called alluvial. So the river, they carried all this alluvial deposit along with it and deposited both the side of the banks. So in this way the banks became very much fertile. So in this region in Magadha, the banks of the rivers were very much fertile, so agriculture is suitable. So this place is very much suitable for agriculture and mainly the paddy. So that's why people started living on the Magadha and surrounding areas. And another thing, the parts of Magadha were forested. Because of the presence of river, some part of the Magadha also full with dense forests. So elephants and other wild animals available in that. So elephants also use in battles. At the time, the kings in their military forces, they include the elephants. Okay, because big elephants can easily kill the enemy in the battlefield. So they captured those elephants from the forest, and they trained for the army and included in the army. And forest also provided wood for building houses, carts and chariots. Okay, so it is also provided wood, and wood is very important material for making houses, forts, palaces, etc., and carts as well as the chariots used in the battles. So it is also very much important, found in these forests of Ganga Valley. Okay, So besides, there are iron ore mines also there. You know that today in it is in Bihar and Jharkhand region, lot of iron mines situated. Okay, so the place is with very much full with iron mines. So they draw the Tori, no need to draw that figure. Okay, I'm just drawing that figure for understanding. So at the time, West Bengal, Bihar, all these things are, these names are not present. Okay, the entire part, some part of Bengal also included in the Bihar. Okay, some included in the Magadha. So Bihar, Jharkhand, and West Bengal, some part of West Bengal also included in the territory of Magadha. So it is actually, so here it is the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so it is, you know that river Bhagirathi entered in Bengal near Rajmahal, and this is the Son. So and this is the Magadha. Okay, look at the board carefully. And our today's West Bengal is like that. Okay, quite like that. And the Bihar is also there. And Jharkhand, all these states, these are also present. So this is present in today's Bihar, Magadha. Okay, and very important place situated between the two rivers. Okay, this is our present day West Bengal, and this is river Ganga, flown from the Uttar Pradesh to Bihar and through Murshidabad and beside Bardhaman, passes through Hooghly and fall into the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so number F, the iron ore. So it is also a important thing. Iron ore, and iron ore also used in making plough, and plough was called, you know that plough already used in agriculture at that time. Now, so Magadha and two very powerful rulers. Okay, and in Magadha there are two powerful rulers ruled at the time, that is Bimbisara and Ajatasattu. So remember the name Bimbisara and Ajatasattu. So Bimbisara and Ajatasattu are the two kings. Okay, so I'm rubbing this portion. Okay, so you have understood why Magadha is very much important. These are the 6 regions, that's why Magadha is very much important. Okay, so I'm writing the 6th point about the importance of Magadha: the transport, water supply, land, fertile lands, availability of elephant, availability of wood, and presence of iron ore for making weapons, plows, agricultural equipments, as well as other tools. Okay, so in Magadha the two kings ruled at the time, that is Ajatasattu and Bimbisara. And Ajatasattu, Bimbisara, they both the kings belongs to the dynasty named Harshanga dynasty. Okay, and they possible means to conquer other Janapadas, and Mahapadmananda was another important ruler at the time, and he extended his control up to the northwest part of the subcontinent. And Mahapadmananda was the founder of another dynasty. It is called Nanda dynasty. Okay, so Mahapadmananda, another important ruler after Bimbisara and Ajatasattu, and he established a powerful dynasty, Nanda dynasty. Okay, you will read next chapters about the Nanda dynasty and what happened with them. So he extended his control. What happened, students? And he extended his control up to the northwestern part of the subcontinent. And Rajagriha, the present day Rajgir, okay, Rajgir is in Bihar, was the capital of Magadha. So what was the capital of Bihar? It is Rajgir, remember, or Rajagriha at that time. Later, the capital was shifted to Pataliputras, and Pataliputra was later also the capital of the Mauryas. So more than 2300 years ago, a ruler named Alexander, okay. So another ruler who tried to invade Indian subcontinent around 2300 years ago, named Alexander. And he who lived in the Macedonia in Europe. He came from Macedonia, the king of Macedonia. It is near the Greece in Europe. And when Alexander conquered all the Middle Eastern part of the Asia and tried to enter inside India, but his army was very much tired, and they were not willing to enter, willing to cross the river Bias, okay, and Jhelum. Okay, then what happened? Previously, they conquered the parts of Egypt and West Asia. What happened, Tori? Class is going on, so don't chat anything else, okay? It is very important for you, forget everything. And don't chat between yourself. The ancient name of Tanuji, the ancient name of the city, it is the Rajagriha, present day Rajgir. Okay, so 2300 years ago, Alexander, the king of Macedonia, he came in the bank of Bias. He conquered the parts of Egypt and West Asia, and also came to Indian subcontinent. And when he wanted to reach further eastwards, his soldiers refused because they were very much tired. They started their journey 2 years ago, a very long time ago, and fighting long battles, and they totally exhausted. So they heard that the rulers of India, Mahapadmananda, was vast armies. At the time, the rulers was Dhanananda. He also belonged to the same dynasty of Mahapadmananda. So when heard that Dhanananda had huge army, their army soldiers were refused to enter India, and they returned back. Okay, so from this account we found this account from the book written by a famous traveler who traveled India, that is the Megasthenes. Okay, so you will read about Megasthenes in next chapters. So that's all from today's class. If you have any question, you can ask me. Pataliputra. Shirshendu, it is Pataliputra. Okay. Pataliputra is the ancient name of Patna. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining this class. See you in the next class.